Whatever's weighing you down has not crushed you. And if you can find out how to tell that story, you will inspire others to do the same. It will draw strength from your example. Lesson number 7, be real. There are a number of speakers who pull speeches and stories from Reader's Digest or some other place. And that's fine, but it's fake. Anybody can read somebody else's story. I want to know what you're doing in your life. I want to know how you are solving your challenges. Tell me about your strength. I want to be inspired by your courage. That's what I want to connect with. That's what your audience wants to connect with. They want to connect with you. Be real. Don't be somebody else. Tell your story. This is where the courage comes in. Oh, I don't know. Put my business out in the street like that and just tell folks? Yes. I gave a speech last year called The Line. And I had some caution tape on the stage, and I talked about what exists on both sides of the line. Fear and doubt and playing small over here, being real and authentic and having courage over there. And at the end, I cut the tape and invited people to cross the line and live on the other side with me. There was a person who came up to me at the end of that speech at the district level, and they said, I have been wrestling with this my entire life. But you kicked me in the backside with your speech, and it got real for me. And I have decided to finally live the life that I have been denying myself for 68 years. And shortly after I gave that speech, Jim became Jen. New identity, new everything, and she is living her life the way she has always felt who she was, authentically. That's the power of your word. That's the difference you can make. Don't sell yourself short. Be real. If I only had a heart. What's true is you do. And sometimes the story you need to tell is the one that breaks your heart. I know I have a heart because I feel it breaking. 2014 was a difficult year for me. I was going through the end of my marriage of almost 24 years. I thought that was horrible because I was standing on the stage in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, feeling like, even though I had some other people from the district and a few other Toastmaster friends there, I felt alone. I thought 2014 was horrible. And then 2015 came. Woohoo! I thought I was having a picnic before. Oh, no. Finalizing the divorce towards the beginning of the year. Started a new relationship, which went mysteriously south. Father died in March. Mother fell and broke both her legs in June. My new friend went off on a month-long trip somewhere. Yeah. Oh, and another good friend from church died on the day of my father's funeral was being held. Yes, I was having a festival. And I don't say that to ask for pity or, oh. What I'm telling you is I experienced some real stuff. So what did I do? How did I get through it? I wrote speeches about it. And I gave them. You talked earlier about how $6 a month or $7.50 a month is a great value. How much are you paying for therapy? Best therapy in the world right here. Here's your therapy, here's your couch. Stand on it for 5 to 7 minutes and let it all out. I'm not making light of it. I'm telling you right now, Toastmasters saved my life. Lesson number 8, it's not about you. Don't for 1 minute think that you're going to do this for the accolades, or you're going to do this because it's going to placate your ego or you'll get some personal gratification for it. Yeah, awards and certificates and some notoriety, that's kind of cool, but it's really not about you. If you make it about you, you lose focus. Fear, doubt, limiting beliefs are all trying to detract you from your journey. The flying monkeys of fear, the flying monkeys of doubt, the flying monkeys of negative self-talk, the flying monkeys of ego gratification. How many of you still get on a stage and you sometimes feel a little anxious, a little nervous? You want a tip to help you get over that? Seriously? Yes? Yes. Okay. Change your focus. You see, if my focus is on me, oh, I wonder how I sound. This might bring out the natural resonance in my voice. Sound person, adjust me, please. How do I look? Does this suit make my butt look big? My skinny suit, I was able to get into it after I lost 40 pounds. I look good. If my focus is on me, how good I look, how good I sound, my focus is not where it needs to be. Because any of those things that I am worried about, that's merely an opening for the flying monkeys of fear and doubt and negative self-talk to pop in. Now I have sabotaged myself and I have denied you something that might benefit you because my focus is in the wrong place. Where should my focus be? On you. Every time I get up to speak, my sole focus is what can I say that would help somebody today? How many of you have been helped maybe in some way, inspired, motivated, by something I've said? Anybody? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mission accomplished. And I'm not worried. I have no fear or anxiety because my focus is not back here. My focus is there with you. And so if you can do that, you will watch fear melt away. And you will take the stage with a bold confidence that you didn't think was possible in you. Because now you're on a mission. You have something to say. You're all about service. Wasn't that on the coin? Look at you walking in alignment with the Toastmaster values. And that's, for me, what it feels like to be home. Home is a place where we all must find. It's not just a place where you eat or sleep, it's knowing. It is knowing your mind, knowing your heart, knowing your courage. If we know ourselves, we're always home. You've always had the power. You just had to learn it for yourself. The things that I've done, you can do that too. If you're willing to get a divorce, have people die, sacrifice time, money, relationships. You can be up here on the big stage. No, you don't have to go through all of that. You just have to show up and be real and be committed and tell your story. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to travel a little easier on the road to Oz. And I've still got a little bit of time. You may applaud if you'd like. In the few minutes that I have left, I want to take questions from you, and I also want to let you know about a special offer I put together just for you all. It's how to write and deliver a world-changing message. If you're serious about improving your speaking skills, crafting a world-changing message, and if you had the opportunity to work with somebody who's been there and done that, would you? If you would, I can help. And so if you go to that link, bit.ly/1Oz, just kind of worked out that way, YFUF. The real thing is much longer, that's the short version. bit.ly/1Oz, YFUF. Then you can see what I'm offering. And what I'm offering is a comprehensive action guide that I wrote with another Toastmaster about how to actually design, deliver, and create your world-changing message. 3 hours of private one-on-one coaching with me on the phone. You can get on Skype, on some web conferencing service. I will review your speech. If you're on the video conference, I can give you tips and pointers about your delivery, your voice, your gestures, etc. We'll record the sessions, and you'll get recordings of those sessions. You can go back and play and mine for additional nuggets of learning. And I've also given 2 bonus gifts, PDFs that you can download for free, and lots of great stuff in there. You'll love that. So that's what I'm offering. It's $297, and that expires on Monday. So if you take it, it's normally $997. So this is the incredibly highly discounted District 39 Toastmaster special. Yay! Woohoo! So, we have 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Questions? Back there and then up here.
Yeah, thank you. That was quite inspiring. One thing I wanted to ask you is that there's always a common misconception that when you enter in the international speech contest, it always has to be some type of motivational speech, and we know that's really not the case. How would you go about encouraging someone to talk about something other than that, like the topics you presented? Those are some great ones to bring up.
Thank you. Somebody came up to me at the end of last summer's contest and they said, I guess you have to figure out whether you want to inspire people or you want to win. And there was a lot of truth to that, because if you go to YouTube and you look up the World Championship winning speeches for the last 10 or 15 years, you will see that there's a theme. And the theme is a message that's not too heavy, surrounded by a lot of lightness. So if you can do humor and somewhere in there, and here's a really good point. That's your formula for what works on the big stage. Prior to the big stage, in my experience, you can actually get away with inspirational speeches or some of the things that I mentioned earlier, talking about real heavy things. You don't want to get too heavy. You always want to work some humor in there. But I think there's a clear difference between what works before the big stage and what works on it. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a question here.
Thank you. That was a fantastic speech.
Thank you.
I can't ask for a crash course on how to write a speech, but I would love to hear from you. How long does it take you to come up with a speech?
Sometimes it takes me about 8 minutes. And it usually happens when I'm in the shower. Somewhere between soaping and shampooing, I'll have an idea and then bam, I'll just start talking. And there's a speech. And I'm thinking, I have nothing to write with. Where's my phone? I have to record this. I will give you a crash course. Write this down. It's something that may help you. And this is the thing that's in the action guide. I won't go into the detail of it, but top level. Start with 3 things. 1, what's the takeaway message? You want your audience to remember one thing that you say. What's the one thing? Be clear about that. Number 2, what's the takeaway action? You want your audience to do something. Be crystal clear about what you want them to do, and then invite them to do that. Number 3, what's the takeaway benefit? What's the benefit you're trying to sell to your audience that helps them? So if you start with those 3 things, the message, the action, and the benefit, not necessarily in that order, I think you'll be a lot further along in terms of writing your speech. Yes?
Yes, great speech again.
Thank you.
When you write a speech, do you end up memorizing the speeches? Or you kind of just...
Yes and no. And some of the other people who've been on that stage and world champions will tell you at some point you will have to memorize the speech. And here's why. You have a script, and a script is a sequence of words that have meaning. I learned that from Eric Lofholm, who's a sales trainer. Are you familiar with that? A script is a sequence of words that have meaning. A world-changing message, a world championship of public speaking script, is a sequence of words that have meaning and impact. Meaning and impact. And so if I have a certain phrase, and that has the meaning and impact that I want to memorize that specific phrase. Does that answer your question? I think one more question. Yes?
When you picture in international speech, what phrase do you think made the most impact of your speech?
It was probably the first one in 2014 in Malaysia, and it was a speech called Dial It Up. And there's a phrase in there that I use where I ask people to turn to each other and look at them and say with power, clarity, and conviction, up yours. And I explain it, I don't mean it as an insult, it's an invitation to dial every part of your life up to a higher level. I knew it had impact after I won the semifinals. I'm standing, and once they released me from the media room, I'm standing outside holding my trophy in the hallway, and some people from the Philippines walk by and they go, "Oh, Mr. Up Yours guy! Up Yours guy! Hey, we want to take a picture with you! Hey, Up Yours!" That's the moment I knew I had created a worldwide phenomenon. So, Up Yours.
Round of applause for James. Oh, I just made that up.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
We now have a 10 to 15